everyone. This is Changyong, and welcome to the third episode of E-commerce 101 podcast. In the previous episode, we had the chance to talk with four distinguished guests who have equipped us with lots of knowledge about e-commerce. And this time, we're lucky enough to welcome back all four of them with us today to discuss about the case studies in reality in the industry. So today I have a case study related to Pandora. And without further ado, let's get straight into the case study, because I believe that our audience have all known our guests, because if they have heard our previous episode. Okay, so the case study of Pandora can be called as Freemium takes Pandora public. So basically, Pandora is the internet's most successful radio service. And at Pandora, the users will select a genre of music based on a favorite musician, and then a computer algorithm puts together a personal radio station that plays not only the music of the selected artist, but also closely related music by different artists. Pandora was launched in 2005 by Will Glazer and Tim Westergren. And then back then, the idea of a personal radio station playing your own kind of music was very new. And that was also the founder's biggest challenge, making a business out of that totally new kind of online radio station. Pandora's business strategy is referred to as freemium. Its first strategy was to give away 10 hours of free access and then ask subscribers to pay $36 a month for a year after they used up their free 10 hours. The result is that 100,000 people listened to the 10 hours for free and then refused to pay for the annual service. After that failure, in November 2005, Pandora introduced an ad-supported option. This model was actually a risky move because Pandora had no ad server or accounting system back then, but the result was that it attracted so many users that in a few weeks, it had a sufficient number of advertisers, including Apple, to pay for its infrastructure. And then in 2006, Pandora struck deals with Amazon, iTunes, and other online retail sites. In 2008, Pandora added an iPhone app to allow users to sign up from their smartphones and then listen all day if they wanted. And by 2009, this free ad-supported model had attracted 20 million users, which is kind of a huge number. After attracting a sufficiently large user base in late 2009, the company launched Pandora One, a high-end version of its service that offered no advertising, higher quality streaming music, a desktop app, and fewer usage limits. The service also cost $36 a year, and this time it met with much more success. So much so that Pandora went public in June 2011. Although Pandora has not yet shown a profit, it has continued to show growth in advertising revenue and in listener hours. Pandora also made a lot of acquisitions in 2015, including on-demand music service Audio. This signified that Pandora wanted to directly compete with Spotify in on-demand music streaming instead of just focusing on its radio model. Okay, so that was a pretty long case study, and I'm really curious about how our experts in the industry would address this case study. So our team has prepared some of the questions related to the case study, and also because we have posted this case study on our social media before, so that our audience can read this case study first. So they have sent us lots of questions, and the most frequently asked questions is to compare Pandora original business model with its current business model. Like, what is the difference between free and freemium revenue models? That's what we are curious about. And to answer these questions, I would love to ask Ms. Nido, could you please help us address this question?
Yeah, so I will answer the two questions. The first one compares the initial and the current business models of Pandora. And as you can see, both model consists of like the free part and the not free part. For the original, we have 10 free listening hours for 1 whole year. And then after that, you must pay $36 per month for the next listening hours. And it is an annual service. But for the current one, we have like more free listening hours, 40 per calendar month. It's like 100 times more than the previous model. And then we have to pay 99 cents for the rest of the month or sign up for a premium service offering unlimited usage, or we can do nothing and then wait for the next month to have like the next 40 free listening hours and make this quite easy choice again. And it also offers a high-end version which called Pandora One with no advertising, higher quality streaming music, a desktop app, and fewer usage limits. And so that's the difference between the original and the current model. And of course, the results of the two models are vastly different as well. The current one has like much more sets. And the key to the success also lies in the second question, comparison between the free and the freemium model. So we have the two models. The free one, we have access to all levels, but within just a limited and usually short period of time. And after that time, the audience must pay or watch ads to continue. And the revenue source is like the direct payment from customers to the subscription, but it's usually a small amount because as you see in the case of Pandora, they only try and they give up after the 10 free hours. And they can also get revenues from advertisements because ad-supported option allows the audience to like watch ads to listen more. But for the freemium model, while we can only get access to certain levels, but this lasts for a much longer period of time and in some cases even unlimited amount of time. And the customer has the liberty to choose whether to pay or not. And because of that, they have the control over their payments. They are much more happy and enjoy more benefits. So they usually pay a lot. So the revenue source is a direct payment from premium customers. And it can also have other sources like advertisements, affiliates, and so on. So that's my answer to the two questions.
That's wonderful. I really love to hear like how an expert in the industry addressed a case study, and it really goes beyond my expectation. I'm really satisfied with that. So we're also curious about the customer value proposition that Pandora offers. Like what kind of values do they offer? So I would love to ask Mr. Vigo of Traveloka if you would love to address this question.
Yes, thank you for your question. So to answer this, I pointed out four main characteristics of the Pandora value proposition. I'm sorry, five. First, personalization, high quality streaming music, multi-platform, no advertisement, and the high usage limits. That is my answer for this question. Thank you so much.
Very concise, but I think it's completely true because in our case study we also mentioned this one, and I can see that you're very you can see it very clearly. Some of our audience have kind of missed this piece of information. So that's I think is that a wrap up of the Pandora case study. I don't know if there is any kind of similar case study. If you guys know, please share with us because we would love to know more knowledge about the industry.
Well, I have something to share on this. A similar case study would be a case between MailChimp and Barometrics. I don't know if you have heard of these two before. So whether the premium strategy is effective or not, remains to be seen. But MailChimp has shown how freemium can make a company successful. After its first 10 years in business, the company has had only 85,000 paid subscribers. Then, in 2009, MailChimp began giving away its basic tools for free and then charging subscription fees for special features. In just over a year, its profits increased more than 650%. So for MailChimp, Freemium has been worth the price. However, Barometrics came to a different conclusion because in 2015, Barometrics introduced a free option. For the full version, customers would have to upgrade. If we only look at conversion rate, the free plan could have been regarded as a success. But Barometrics wasn't able to keep up with the sudden increase in data processing requirements, and the small number of staff it had was struggling to meet the higher demand. And eventually, the total number of Barometrics customers began to drop below what it had been before the introduction of the free plan. Barometrics discovered that its resources were too tight to use the freemium model. Unlike MailChimp or Pandora, whose marginal costs were small enough that they could launch the service for millions of users, Barometrics is a smaller company with different goals and scope. And that is, the case between MailChimp and Barometrics that I want to share with you guys for today.
Thank you very much. I think it's kind of a bit similar to the Pandora case that our team has provided. So regarding this case, I have one personal question after hearing the case. I wonder, why did MailChimp ultimately succeed with a premium model, but then Barometrics did not? Like, why? Miss Mywin, if you can please help us answer this question.
All right. So it's my pleasure to answer this question. So I see that both company offer valid value proposition to their customer, but only MailChimp could keep up with the demand. So the reason for that is while the marginal cost for MailChimp were low enough to support millions of users, Barometric lacked the necessary resources, as it was a smaller company with different goals and scope.
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Then I bet there must be kind of considerations when when adopting a freemium revenue model. So what do you guys think about the factors that we need to consider when we want to adopt a freemium model? If any of our guests have an answer to this, you can feel free to kind of open your microphone and voice your opinion.
Yeah, I think the most important factor when you consider using a freemium model is that the product or service must be easy to use, because otherwise you wouldn't use it anyway, right? Yeah, so that is my opinion.
Okay, so I want to add in one point. So large potential audience is actually very important factors, because each user can recommend the website to his or her acquaintances, which means this can create what we call the network effects. So your website will be known by more people.
Okay, like LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Anybody want to add something else?
So I want to ask another thing that you can see in the case of MailChimp and Barometrics. Barometrics actually had an easy-to-use product and a large potential audience, but they didn't have a well-maintained budget. They didn't have the resources and capabilities to continue to keep up with the high demand. So the budget is very important, and the revenue sources can be from advertising, from affiliates, or from the premium subscribers. You can use the resources from the revenues from the premium subscribers to provide services for the free users. And that's how we can maintain our budget.
So also attracting a large number of audience is important. Keeping the retention rates high should be our main focus to be successful, I think. So we must have a solid value proposition, as the values we create must increase over time. Yes, it's my opinion.
I think they are all very, very valid points, but that's about the things that we have to consider when adopting a freemium revenue model. What about the other lessons? Do we have any kind of other lessons, probably from the business's perspective or any kind of perspective?
First of all, from the business point of view, I think the freemium strategy is an opportunity, but also a threat at the same time, because the other big companies can utilize this model to stand against the available ones. And moreover, to apply this strategy, firms have to all in. It means that if firms are successful, it will obtain huge revenues from the premium part. In contrast, if firms cannot be sticky to the customers, it will rely significantly on other revenues such as advertising revenues, which are not the main goal. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to add from the customer perspective. So I think the freemium models have given us more chances to discover interesting and useful products and services, but it also a clever trap to lure us and get us addicted to the website.
And so because our podcast today mainly concerns e-commerce, so we mostly talked about subscription revenues and so on. But actually, we can see the freemium strategy in various fields and forms. For example, we all know that we have a sneak peek or trailer of a movie which is free, but it have us wanting to pay the money to see it at the cinema. Or we can also have at the back cover of the books, there usually some summary of the key contents, and which makes us want to read the whole book. And wow, we take out our wallet and pay for the book. And that's also the freemium strategy in daily life as well.
I think that's a wonderful point. Anyone want to add on that?
Yes, I want to ask. I want to add one thing. There's an old saying that a secret makes a woman a woman. So, I mean, we can take out the lesson that never reveal all of your premium features at first. You should keep other hooked and put more efforts to get to know you, just like MailChimp, right? They introduced the freemium versions first, and then they introduced the premium versions later.
I think that's really an interesting point. I love your way of addressing the problem, and you're looking at the case study. Anyway, that's just about wraps it up for our episode today. I would love to say thank you to Miss Nhi Do, Mr. Vi Quý Vương, Miss Mai Nguyen, and Miss Linh Nguyen for spending time with us today. And I know that our previous episode is a little bit theoretical, but this episode we have addressed more realistic problems, more realistic, case studies in the industry. And I think our audience would love to hear more. And if I have the chance, I would love to invite you back to our podcast in the next episode. And our audience, if you love our talk today, again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and drop a comment down below on the topic you want us to cover in the next episode. I'm Chang Yong, and this is E-Commerce 101 Podcast. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.